With all the negativity out there, I just want to make a video talking about how much I love the Nintendo Switch 2. This console is so much fun. I have had the time of my life with it, and I'm just tired of seeing people say that it's nothing more than a Switch with a little bit more power to it, because it's so much more than that to me. We can pretty much summarize the entirety of the Nintendo Switch by saying it made dreams come true. If you wanted 3D Mario back in the sandbox style from Super Mario Sunshine and 64, you got it back with Odyssey. If you wanted Zelda to totally turn the page and do something different after the failure, quite frankly, of Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom pushed it forward in a genre-defining way, in a way that changed everything forever. Every single franchise you almost look at and it's like, wow, it genuinely changed everything for the better. People who never thought that they were getting these games back, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Tomodachi Life, like even in the big 2026, the Nintendo Switch is giving us dreams come true. And last year with the Switch 2, it started off with a really bad bang. Like, we obviously know all the price debacle, everything that went down with that. It was such a horrible time to be online as a Nintendo fan, and you didn't know what was true. Misinformation was going crazy. Everyone didn't know what was going on. And we finally gotten to a point where I think we've settled down. I genuinely don't see as much hate, if any hate, anymore. It's great to see. But at the same time, I do feel like the industry is going in a really negative direction overall. The PlayStation 5 and Sony, their recent news is that if you buy a game digitally, you will not be able to play it again unless you have internet connection after 30 days. So if I go right now, buy a game, buy Persona 3 Reload off the digital store, I will have that game. If I don't play it for 30 consecutive days and I go back to play it without an internet connection, the game will not turn on. It will not allow you to play the game you bought because they don't know if you actually bought it. They want to check if you have the license to play it. That is a horrible direction for the industry, and it is so important to see why physical media is at the top. How many people do you think have PlayStation 5 digital consoles? And those consoles aren't going to be working for them anymore. Now, sure, that might be a little bit dramatic, because of course, most people these days are going to be playing in their homes with their Wi-Fi. But at the same time, what about the people overseas? I saw a comment of someone saying that there are people in the army that would love to play these games, that perhaps get to download a game right now, have a little bit of internet, and then have to go down in the dark for a long time, don't get any access to any of that stuff. They won't be able to play their games anymore. And this is the exact thing that PlayStation decided to go against. They totally screwed Xbox over in the Xbox 360 generation. Around that time frame, Xbox One, with the PlayStation 4, they were telling us, no, we're not going to do that. We are the good guys. We are the company that you go to for good morals, and we're going to be there, and power to the player, right? That's gone. It is over. And now, I'm not here to totally trash on the Sony ponies today. That's not my game. I have a PlayStation 5 myself, and I play a lot of games on it. I really do enjoy that console. But my main focus is the Nintendo Switch 2. And man, Nintendo fans, I just want you to know how good we have it. They're not selling us a digital-only console with an option to buy a little bit more, pay a little bit more, and get a Switch 2 with a physical option. That is not the case. It's just a single console in which you have both physical and digital options for you. Yes, they did make it to where you can buy a cheaper game now digitally, and that variable pricing is definitely coming into play. Splatoon Raiders is only going to be $50 digitally. $50! Guys, this is unheard of compared to last year. Just last year. If I were to go back in time and tell you that they were going to release an entire new Splatoon game, a spin-off in which they were going to make it totally single-player focused, and it was going to look great. It was going to introduce lava for the first time in the series, and that everyone was going to be so excited to play it, and that it was only going to be $50? $50? I don't think anyone would have even come close to believing me, because there were so many people saying that at the time, $70 was going to be the new standard across the board for everything, and I was leading the train on that, saying that's totally fine. It is a new generation. But guess what? I'm gonna say that $50 is better because cheaper is better. I just didn't think it was achievable, and apparently it is. With the new CEO, Devin Pritchard, she is already making great changes to the Nintendo sphere. Now, I know a lot of these changes do come from Japan specifically, but I have to give credit to someone, right? Like, this leadership isn't just her doing whatever Japan wants. Like, to a certain extent it is, but at the same time, she's gotta be fighting for us, right? These changes have come since she is in office. If we're gonna tell the Xbox CEO, the new CEO there, that she's doing great for rebranding marketing and giving the price down of Game Pass, then we also need to look at Devin Pritchard of Nintendo of America and say, good job. We are seeing variable pricing for the first time. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, it will be $60 digitally. This is really, really good news. Like, the console itself has not gone up in price like everyone predicted it would. It's still at $450, $500 with that Mario Kart bundle if you can still find some of it. And let's totally trash that manipulation that the media has been pushing about Mario Kart World. So many people have said that they canceled the Mario Kart World bundle. Friends, from day one, that was the intent. If you go back to literally any of my videos talking and breaking down everything with the Switch 2 and all of its new information, you will see from day one in the fine print, they said Mario Kart World bundle was only going to be a limited time thing. They just wanted early adopters to be able to get a better deal. They wanted to reward you for being a core Nintendo fan, and we were rewarded. We had so much less money to pay. The same people who were complaining about $80 Mario Kart World got to buy it for $50 with that bundle. Just want to kind of point that out there, that people who were complaining about it were the same people who weren't even really buying. And honestly, as important as physical media is, I've gone to digital only with my Switch 2, and that's something else I want to talk about today. My experience with the Switch 2 digitally has been amazing. It's been phenomenal. I just don't have the time anymore like I used to go to the stores and buy a game. Like, literally, I don't have the time to do that simple act. I just have the time to look on my phone and click a button and boom, it downloads straight to my Switch 2. That is the easiest thing possible, is to just have that Switch store app and boom, it's on my console waiting for me, or pre-ordered or whatever. It's there. I don't have to wait to buy it and play it that same day. I don't have to wait for it to be shipped to me if I were to buy it online or go to a store and hope it's in stock. I just get it digitally, and this is the first generation I have ever gone digital only. The thing I'm worried about is storage, and of course with the PlayStation 5 and all their weird licensing issues, and do you even really own your games anymore? That is a point of concern for me, but I'm pretty happy with the pricing model that they are giving us. They are saying, hey, we want you to buy physical media. We're going to let you buy physical media still, but to help ease the prices, to help ease concerns, and to help you, the consumer, the person who is buying and supporting Nintendo, we are literally going to drop our prices $10 extra for those of you who decide to purchase digitally. Because they know, right? If you buy a physical copy, part of that money is going to go to these stores and all the shipment and everything in between. But if you buy digitally, 100% of those profits go directly to Nintendo. So obviously it should be cheaper digitally. This is the kind of logic that, like, yeah, it makes sense even before they did it, but you just never think they would do it because they're Nintendo and they're a company and everyone wants to make money. But still, it's just a great thing to have, and I am so excited to have that on my Switch 2, to have that as an option. They kind of took away those game voucher things to where you could go on the Switch 1, pay $100 to buy 2 games basically, and that would save you about $20. This is kind of the same thing in a different form. And honestly, I prefer it. I would rather pay $50 for one game I want right now than buy a voucher and hopefully be able to use that in the future, maybe possibly for a game I don't even know I want. No, I prefer it this way, to be honest. And all of that is just the goodness surrounding the console and the company itself. $450 is really, really cheap compared to every other console. Sure, it's expensive in the grand scheme of things. Like, most people are going to say $450 is a little too much for them. I have seen a lot of people wishing that there was a Switch 2 Lite, and I do believe there will be one. I made a video on that and how that is probably coming pretty soon, but I do think they're really smart for not raising any prices right now, and I also think that the games are speaking for themselves. Friends, I kind of think that we've gotten a little bit spoiled. I think that even though the hate isn't as strong as it was last year, there are still quite a few people saying that the Switch 2 has no games, or that any of these games are just not worth buying, that we're still waiting for the big game to push the console. I see that less and less, I will admittedly say that, but come on. The best part about the Switch 2 has been the games, and the fact that it can run Switch 1 games better. That is enough for me to have a Switch 2, to be honest. Games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom getting Switch 2 editions. Most people had Breath of the Wild and Tears. If you had a Switch, or if you have a Switch 2 and you want that, just go get it. Like, seriously, it is so much better on the Switch 2. I am playing through Breath of the Wild. I'm going through a series right now on the channel called Tales Untold. Go check that out. But that is such a rich and deep story in Breath of the Wild. The gameplay is the best in the entire series, in my opinion, and the exploration is second to none. Like, I love every single thing about Breath of the Wild. Now in 4K, 60 FPS, the loading times are so much quicker. Like, that is so important to me personally because it saves so much time. I remember back in the day, right? Like, it's not that long ago, but almost 10 years ago, we had Breath of the Wild on the Switch and on the Wii U. Those loading times would take forever at points, and now it barely takes more than 10 seconds to get from one side of the map to the other, which honestly makes me want to engage with the game more and see more of what it has to offer and fill out all those side quests and do all those shrines because I know I'm saving time actively by playing it on my brand new stinking great console. Mario Odyssey is up to 4K 60 FPS as well. They gave us so many different free upgrades for those games. Like, this is a great console to play retroactively, and that is a huge selling point. It just is. On top of the Switch 1 games and stuff like Tomodachi Life that we're getting both on Switch 1 and Switch 2, and of course Rhythm Heaven coming up, and we had Metroid Prime on both consoles, there are a lot of great Switch 2 exclusives that push this console forward to a new audience. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong is a great IP. Like, everyone knows what Donkey Kong is, but the games haven't been coming at the rate that they probably should have been. Donkey Kong, for as big as he is, as huge and recognizable as his name is, he doesn't get a lot of games, and he hasn't gotten a lot of love in the last decade. I mean, unless you want to call the re-release of every single Donkey Kong Country game 3 times over love, I don't really call it that, but Bonanza feels like what it should have been the whole time. Your big, like, sandbox style, destroy everything, beat 'em up type game where you're playing as Donkey Kong in a 3D environment. It's just such a great love letter to the series, and it's such an amazing entry point for so many young players who didn't really care about Donkey Kong up until that point. It was also really smart of them to have him be such a big figure, a big character in the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then right after to give him a big new exclusive to be the big second exclusive on the Switch 2, just a month after release. Now we see that there is another Illumination Nintendo movie coming in 2028, and of course that we already know it's probably going to be a Donkey Kong movie. Donkey Kong is back and better than ever on the Switch 2. Then there's Mario Kart World. Wow, what a controversial topic, right? Like, even to this day, there are people who will say that it wasn't worth buying and that it was very frustrating, but still, a lot of that has died down. I'm not trying to dramatize all this right now. Mario Kart World is a great game. I love it to pieces, but at the time, there was a lot going on with that game that caused outrage. And the straight line simulator video I made, just talking about how it's not fun to play intermissions every single time. Guess what, friends? They kind of fixed it. Like, they didn't make it back to what it was at launch when most people would pick random every time just to get those 3-lap tracks. I still think they should give us an option to be able to do that every time. Come on, Nintendo, it's not hard, but still, the way we play it now is fine. Like, if you go online, you will play 3-lap tracks more often than not. And the intermissions are fun every once in a while, and now it's back to every once in a while. You'll play 3-lap tracks like 70% of the time, and then you'll play an intermission, and that's a fun palette resetter. All the characters are great. This is the best roster in Mario Kart history, and that's without the eventual DLC that I am almost positive we are going to get. It just focuses in on the Mario aspect of things, and I love that. I know some people don't. I know 8 Deluxe is still so many people's favorite game, and it was mine for a long time. I put hundreds and hundreds of hours into 8 Deluxe, particularly on the Wii U, and then to the Nintendo Switch, thousands of hours combined. That game had the Inklings, it had Animal Crossing, it had Link, but the only reason they did that, friends, was because they simply had no other option but to use it as a PR stunt. They wanted to put those characters in there to get more people interested in buying Wii U's. That was it, and it worked because most people who did get a Wii U ended up buying Mario Kart 8. But most people didn't buy Wii U's, did they? So it worked for that game, but it didn't work for the console. So then they were coming back to the drawing board and they were saying, let's make this game. And then they realized, you know what? This is Mario Kart. This isn't Nintendo Kart. Smash Brothers has that down. They have all that big collaboration stuff down pat. Mario Kart World is a great addition to the franchise, and I love seeing it go back to its roots because those NPC characters are so fun. Playing as a coin coffer, playing as a Monty Mole, as a Contor from 3D World, it's so much fun. You have a Pianta, you have Dry Bones in terms of the little fish, the dry fish bone. The Mario characters look better than ever. They're so cute, they're so lovable, they're so stylized in their own way. The art style is gorgeous. I mean, you go from Mario Kart World and 8 Deluxe, and I'm telling you, I didn't think 8 Deluxe was as bad as it was, but boy, it does not look good compared to Mario Kart World. There are some aspects of this game and some character models that just should not look the way they do. Not to say 8 Deluxe is a bad looking game overall, but compared to World, it's night and day. And then I love Mario Tennis. You sue me, right? I love Mario Tennis. I am top 1,000 in the world at all times. I'm always playing it every now and then. I love playing online. The gameplay loop is so fun. I think that Fever is a great game. $70? No way. You know what? I thought it was worth it at the time, and it's absolutely worth it for me personally, but for most audiences, now that we're getting Splatoon freaking Raiders for $50, no, Mario Tennis Fever should not be $70. But still, for me, if we're talking about the games and the fun I've had with it, I got sick a couple times in the past few months, and I was just able to grind it out on Mario Tennis Fever. I love that game. I play as Bowser, unlocked all the characters, got all the achievements. It was such a blast. I'm going to be playing that for the entire generation to come. Man, that gameplay loop is is just really satisfying. And if you want to know more about that, go check out my review. I won't bore you with tennis talk here, but it's a great game, and there's a reason they continue to make Mario Tennis games over other Mario sporting outings, even down to like the Switch 2 editions. I know we talked a little bit about Breath and Tears, but something like Xenoblade Chronicles X, which does have a lot of graphical issues, but I just love because it runs in 60 FPS. Something like Animal Crossing New Horizons just makes a good game even better. Like, all these Switch 2 editions are pretty great, especially Mario Wonder. Holy crap, that game came out of nowhere in terms of its quality. Not only does the entire game retroactively look way better than it did, but it fixed the only thing that was wrong with Mario Wonder in the first place. The boss battles. The Koopalings are back and better than ever. Man, I remember a time when the idea of bringing the Koopalings back was just like, no, please stop. We're sick of the Koopalings. And now everyone's like, dude, they're back. This is like a retro thing to have the Koopalings back in a modern game. Their boss fights are so fun and original. I love every aspect of Mario Wonder Switch 2 Edition. If I were playing it for the first time right now as a kid, oh my gosh, I would be all over that. The Bella Bell Park stuff, well, not super fun for me, and baffling that they didn't include an online multiplayer edition. Having it locally, playing it with my sister growing up, oh my gosh, stop it right now. It would have been the best time ever. As far as upcoming games go, we know that there's going to be a Fire Emblem game, Fortune's Weave. I am excited for that in terms of a Three Houses fan. Engage wasn't it for me, and I really hope that this game goes back to the Three Houses style. I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna play it, and I'm really hoping to get into it in the same way, but they just gotta lean in more to that Persona type vibe. They gotta lean into the characters and the relationships you build with them and the story and the gameplay over everything else. That has to be number one. I really do feel like the Switch 2 is absolutely killing it right now. I think that they are doing a phenomenal job. They've not gotten too big for their britches, in my opinion. If they did, it was last year, and they learned their lesson. The backlash was enough for them to say, $50 for Splatoon, haha. Like, they really did fix themselves. Third-party games are also as strong as ever on the Nintendo Switch 2. Being able to play Silksong at 120 frames per second is a joy. I love it so much. Having Resident Evil Requiem on this console, and it be the highest rated version of that game. It's incredible. Pragmata on this console. Incredible. I love everything about the third-party outings. I love everything about Nintendo. I love everything about what they're doing right now. And this is the positivity I want to push forward. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. This is what the channel was founded on. I had so much fun 2 years ago when I first created this channel, and it was so much fun speculating and figuring out everything. When there was really nothing to talk about, that was when I thrived the most, because I could talk about whatever I wanted. And that's the vibe we're bringing back. That's the vibe I am having right now. How many times have I talked about loving the Switch 2? A million times. But guess what? I'm making another video about it because I have more to say, and I love it, and I hope you love it too. I hope this finds the right audience. So if you love your Switch 2 as much as I do, if you're so excited for the future of Nintendo, because oh my goodness, if it's this successful right now without all these big franchises that everyone's looking for, like yes, 3D Mario, Zelda, Smash, all those games will come eventually. Those games are going to be bigger and better than ever, and those games are going to push us forward even more. Man, if you're so excited, make sure you leave a comment down below telling me all about what you're excited for and what your favorite Switch 2 game has been thus far. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe to join the channel if you have not already. Click the notification bell to know exactly when my videos release. And make sure you also consider joining my membership program, a few bucks a month just to help support me financially and support the channel at large. You get cool perks for yours. You get a couple cool perks for yourself as well, and I really appreciate the support. But if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you click on the left side of your screen to see the first episode of Breath of the Wild Tales Untold, breaking down every single memory, and click on the right side of your screen to see my video breaking down how many great games the Switch 2 actually has. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope you have yourself a phenomenal day. This has been Ray's Nintendo Talk. I have been Ray, and I will see you all in the next video.